Supreme Arbiter Krex stood before the Galactic Hegemony's Grand Chamber, his crystalline form catching the light of three suns streaming through the cathedral-like windows. 200 representatives from the most powerful spacefaring civilizations waited in anticipation as he activated the holographic display. Esteemed members of the hegemony, his resonant voice filled the chamber. What you are about to witness requires immediate action. The display showed a small blue-green planet, unremarkable except for the rapidly expanding cloud of artificial satellites and debris surrounding it. This is designation Sol 3, or as its inhabitants call it, Earth. Krex's upper appendages moved in agitation. Over the past 50 of their years, they have progressed from primitive chemical rockets to quantum computing. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented in our records. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Ambassador Zix of the Centaurian Collective raised a tentacle. Surely this is cause for celebration. A new species reaching for the stars. If only it were that simple. Krex interrupted, shifting the display to show military installations, weapons tests, and spreading environmental damage. These humans are fractious, violent, and most concerning of all, innovative in ways we struggle to predict. They have already discovered principles of physics that took our species millennia to uncover. First Speaker Vela of the Proxima Concordat rose from her hover seat, her feathered crest rippling with concern. Are you suggesting they pose a threat? I am suggesting they pose an existential risk to galactic stability. Krex zoomed in on various human conflicts, showing their increasingly sophisticated weapons. They wage war against themselves with frightening regularity, yet emerge stronger each time. Their adaptability is unlike anything we've encountered. The chamber erupted in discussion. Krex waited patiently until Order Keeper Mox restored silence with a subsonic pulse. There is more, Krex continued. Our deep space monitors have detected unusual energy signatures from their solar system. They are experimenting with technologies far beyond their expected development stage. If left unchecked, they could achieve interstellar capabilities within decades, not centuries as we previously estimated. Ambassador Thex of the Rigel Protectorate, known for his conservative views, spoke next. The intervention protocols exist for exactly this scenario. I move for immediate action to contain this threat. Containment may not be sufficient, Krex responded, his crystalline form darkening with gravity. Our simulations suggest a 78% probability that humans would discover any containment measures and develop countermeasures within years. They are remarkably adept at overcoming obstacles. No, we must take more decisive action. The display shifted to show the hegemony's pacification fleet, thousands of ships capable of reducing planets to ash. I propose we demonstrate our power overwhelmingly and early. Show them their place in the galaxy before they develop delusions of equality. First Speaker Vela's feathers bristled. This goes against centuries of first contact protocols. We risk destroying a unique civilization. We risk far more by waiting. Krex cut in. Their mathematical models, their physics theories, their quantum experiments, they're already asking questions our scientists took millennia to formulate. Their primitive AI systems are evolving at rates that alarm our best researchers. They must be contained now, while we still can. The debate raged for hours. Some argued for peaceful contact, others for study from afar. But Krex's warnings about humanity's unpredictable nature and rapid advancement struck a chord of fear in many representatives. The hegemony had maintained stability for 50,000 years, by carefully managing the development of new spacefaring species. Humanity's chaotic progress threatened to upend that order. Finally, the vote was called. By a narrow margin, the hegemony approved military intervention. The pacification fleet would deploy immediately, with orders to demonstrate overwhelming force and demand Earth's immediate submission to hegemony authority. As the chamber emptied, First Speaker Vela approached Krex privately. I hope you understand what you're unleashing, she said softly. Humans may be more capable than our models suggest. Krex's crystalline form pulsed with certainty. They are clever animals, nothing more. Our fleet will darken their skies, and they will kneel before superior power. It is the way of things. But as the Pacification Fleet began its journey towards Sol, neither Krex nor the hegemony could know that humanity had already detected their long-range communications. In deep facilities beneath Earth's oceans, the first seeds of resistance were already taking root, about to blossom into something that would shake the galaxy's foundations. Admiral Reyes stood at the viewport of Deep Station Aegis, watching the massive shape taking form in the construction bay 3 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean. The vessel's dark hull seemed to absorb the powerful floodlights illuminating it, its surface rippling like liquid metal despite being perfectly solid. The quantum entanglement drive is ready for final testing, Dr. Vikram Patel announced, joining her at the viewport. Dark circles under his eyes betrayed weeks of sleepless nights, but excitement brightened his face. We've achieved 400% better efficiency than the theoretical models predicted. And the aliens? Reyes asked, not taking her eyes off the ship. Still coming. Long-range quantum sensors detect their fleet passing Proxima Centauri. We have perhaps 3 weeks before they reach our solar system. Vikram pulled up a holographic display showing the approaching armada. Over 3,000 ships, Admiral, each one capable of reducing a continent to ash. Reyes finally turned from the viewport, her expression hardened by decades of military service. They expect to find a primitive species cowering before their might. Instead, they'll meet the ESS Leviathan. The ship's name felt appropriate. At nearly 2 kilometers long, the Leviathan represented humanity's greatest technological achievement. Its development had begun 15 years earlier, when the first alien transmissions were detected. Rather than announce their discovery to the world, a select group of nations had pooled their resources in absolute secrecy, preparing for the possibility of hostile contact. Commander Khatri, Reyes called to her tactical officer, run today's combat simulation. The Indian officer's fingers flew across his console, and new holograms sprang to life. They showed the Leviathan engaging multiple hostile vessels, its revolutionary weapon systems and defenses in full operation. The adaptive shield matrix is performing beyond expectations, Khatri reported. Based on recovered alien tech and our own innovations, it should be able to analyze and counter any weapon they throw at us within microseconds. And our offensive capabilities. The quantum cascade cannons are ready. One shot can disable or destroy any ship in their fleet. The only limitation is power consumption. We can fire 12 shots before needing to recharge. Reyes nodded. They would need every advantage. While the aliens might have thousands of ships, humanity would have only one chance to prove they couldn't be subjugated. Deep in the station's quantum computing core, artificial intelligence systems worked ceaselessly, analyzing alien technology and developing countermeasures. The aliens thought humans were barely grasping quantum mechanics. They didn't know that Earth's scientists had made leaps the hegemony had never imagined possible. Admiral, a young lieutenant called out, we're detecting unusual activity in the alien fleet. They're accelerating. New estimated arrival, 10 days. The room fell silent. They had just lost over half their remaining preparation time. Status of the crew? Reyes asked, turning to her XO. Captain Rodriguez and her team have completed their final training simulations. They're ready, but he hesitated. Speak freely, Marcus. They're the best we have, but they've never actually operated the real ship. We were supposed to have another month of live trials. Reyes understood his concern. The Leviathan systems were unlike anything humans had built before. Its neural interface required perfect synchronization between crew members. A single mistake could be catastrophic. Time to accelerate our schedule, she announced to the room. I want the crew aboard and beginning live trials within 12 hours. Dr. Patel, you'll have to complete the final calibrations with them on board. Vikram nodded, already calling up ship diagnostics on his tablet. We'll make it work. The neural interface is stable, and the AI support systems can compensate for crew inexperience to some degree. As the station erupted into renewed activity, Reyes returned to the viewport. The Leviathan's hull now pulsed with subtle energy as systems came online. Soon, this single ship would carry humanity's hopes against an armada. "Send word to the Security Council," she ordered. "Tell them to prepare for emergency protocols. When the aliens arrive, every nuclear silo, every military base, every defense system on Earth needs to be ready. The Leviathan is our best hope, but if we fail..." She left the sentence unfinished. Everyone knew what failure meant. In the days that followed, Captain Rodriguez and her crew worked around the clock, learning to operate the most advanced vessel ever built. The neural interface linked them directly to the ship's systems, allowing them to react at computer speeds. It was disorienting at first. Human brains weren't designed to process information that quickly, but they adapted. They had to. Meanwhile, Earth's governments quietly prepared their populations. Unusual military exercises were announced. Civil defense drills increased. Satellites were repositioned. To the public, it all seemed like routine preparation for some undefined threat. Only a handful knew that humanity's first interstellar war was about to begin. 7 days before the alien fleet's arrival, the Leviathan powered up its quantum entanglement drive for the first time. The massive ship rose silently from its underwater berth, its liquid metal hull shimmering as it adapted to the pressure changes. In low Earth orbit, it would be virtually invisible to conventional sensors, waiting for the right moment to reveal humanity's true capabilities. As Admiral Reyes watched the Leviathan ascend, she thought about the aliens' assumption of human inferiority. They thought they were dealing with primitives who would bow before a show of force. Instead, they would meet a species that had turned their own stolen technology against them, improved upon it, and created something entirely new. The game was about to begin, and humanity was ready to play. Captain Naomi Rodriguez stood on the Leviathan's bridge. Her mind merged with the ship's systems through the neural interface. The alien fleet had just appeared at the edge of the solar system, their massive ships distorting space itself as they decelerated. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Lieutenant Park reported from communications. Message reads, "To the primitive species of Sol 3, witness the power of the galactic hegemony. Surrender now or face extinction." Rodriguez allowed herself a small smile. "Let's show them our response." Battle stations. The Leviathan's crew, linked through their neural interfaces, moved as one. The ship's liquid metal hull shifted, optimizing its configuration for combat. Deep within its quantum core, energy began to build. "Multiple ships breaking formation," Tactical Officer Singh announced. "They're moving to surround Earth. No weapons charged yet. They're positioning for a show of force." "Just as we predicted," Rodriguez said. "They want to intimidate us first. Track their flagship." The massive alien vessel hung in space like a twisted cathedral, its crystalline structure gleaming in the sunlight. Supreme Arbiter Krex stood on its bridge, prepared to deliver his speech about humanity's new place in the galactic order. Instead, his sensors suddenly screamed warnings. The Leviathan decloaked directly above the flagship, its liquid metal hull absorbing and reflecting the sun's light in impossible ways. Before the alien fleet could react, the quantum cascade cannon fired. The beam struck the flagship's shields, shields that had withstood the weapons of 100 species. They failed instantly. The energy cascade rippled through the ship's crystalline structure, shutting down every system simultaneously. "First blood," Rodriguez announced calmly. "Let them process that for a moment." The alien fleet froze in confusion. Their flagship, one of the most powerful vessels ever built, had been disabled by a single shot from a ship that hadn't existed seconds ago. Then chaos erupted. Hundreds of alien ships opened fire, filling space with energy beams and plasma torpedoes. The Leviathan's hull rippled, its adaptive shields analyzing and countering each weapon type in microseconds. Not a single shot penetrated. Their weapons are based on conventional physics, Singh reported through the neural link. The quantum shield matrix is adapting faster than they can adjust. Rodriguez nodded. Time to show them what else we can do. Execute attack pattern Delta. The Leviathan moved in ways that should have been impossible for a ship its size. The quantum entanglement drive didn't just propel it. It allowed the ship to exist in multiple probabilistic states simultaneously. To the alien sensors, it seemed to be in several places at once, each version equally real until observed. Picking up massive energy spikes from their second wave, Singh warned. They're bringing in their heavy weapons. Perfect. Rodriguez's mind merged deeper with the ship's eye. Initiate quantum mirroring. The Leviathan's hull began to generate quantum duplicates of incoming fire, reflecting it back at the alien fleet with perfect accuracy. Their own weapons turned against them, amplified by technologies they didn't understand. In the Hegemony's command ship, now restored to minimal power, Krex watched in horror as his fleet was systematically dismantled by a single vessel. Impossible, he whispered. Their planet showed no signs of such advancement. Sir, his second-in-command reported, we're detecting unusual energy patterns throughout their solar system. There are defenses we didn't see before, everywhere. Humanity had hidden its true capabilities well. While the Hegemony watched their surface activities, the real work had happened deep underground and beneath the oceans. Every stolen piece of alien technology had been studied, improved, and repurposed. The battle continued for hours. The Leviathan danced through the alien formation, its quantum weapons striking with surgical precision. It never targeted life support or crew sections, only weapons and propulsion. This wasn't just a demonstration of power, it was a demonstration of mercy. Finally, Rodriguez opened a channel to the entire alien fleet. This is Captain Rodriguez of the Earth ship Leviathan. You came to our system expecting to find primitives. Instead, you found equals. Perhaps it's time we talked. The response was immediate. Across the fleet, weapons powered down. The remaining ships retreated to a defensive formation, but made no further hostile moves. Krex himself responded, his voice carrying a new note of respect. The Hegemony acknowledges humanity's strength. We would discuss terms. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Rodriguez allowed herself to feel the full weight of what they'd accomplished. Humanity had faced its first interstellar threat and emerged victorious. More importantly, they'd done it without resorting to wholesale slaughter. Send word to Admiral Reyes, she ordered. Phase 1 is complete. The diplomatic teams can begin their work. The Leviathan maintained its position, its liquid metal hull now reflecting the light of Earth's sun across the scattered alien fleet. In a single day, the galaxy's balance of power had shifted dramatically. And this was only the beginning. The diplomatic chambers aboard Neutral Station 1 hummed with tension. 1 week after the Leviathan's demonstration, representatives from Earth and the Hegemony gathered to determine the future of galactic relations. Admiral Reyes sat opposite Supreme Arbiter Krex, whose crystalline form had lost some of its earlier luster. Between them, holograms displayed the changed status of both their forces. The Hegemony's fleet, once numbering thousands, had been reduced by a third. The rest remained in standoff positions, watching the singular form of the Leviathan as it patrolled Earth's orbital space. Your ship, Krex began, it violates numerous laws of physics as we understand them. No, Reyes replied calmly. It violates your assumptions about physics. There's a difference. First Speaker Vela, who had opposed the invasion, leaned forward. How did you advance so quickly? Our observations showed no signs. Because we learned from history, Reyes interrupted. Every time a technologically advanced civilization encountered a less advanced one on Earth, the results were devastating for the latter. When we detected your transmissions 15 years ago, we understood our position immediately. The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. Their own historical records held similar patterns. The Leviathan is not our only achievement, Reyes continued. While you watched our surface activities, we built entire cities beneath our oceans. We have quantum computers that make your best systems look primitive. We've mapped regions of subspace your scientists haven't discovered yet. Impossible, one of the hegemony scientists burst out. Your species is barely 1,000 generations old. Which is precisely why we advanced so quickly. A new voice joined in. Dr. Patel had entered the chamber carrying data crystals. We had to. Our short lifespans drive us to innovate. Our divisions push us to compete. Our wars force us to adapt. Every obstacle makes us stronger. He inserted the crystals into the holographic display. New images appeared. Earth's hidden technological achievements, carefully concealed from alien observation. The Leviathan, he explained, combines over a dozen breakthrough technologies. Its quantum entanglement drive doesn't just move through space. It manipulates probability itself. The liquid metal hull isn't just armor. It's a quantum computer that can process battlefield data faster than organic brains. The aliens watched in growing astonishment as more secrets were revealed. Humanity hadn't just caught up to hegemony technology. They'd surpassed it in several key areas. Why show us this now? Krex asked. Because you need to understand, Rise said firmly. Earth doesn't want war. We built the Leviathan as a shield, not a sword. But if pushed, we will defend ourselves with everything we have. The implications hung heavy in the chamber. The hegemony had ruled space unopposed for 50,000 years. Now, in the span of a week, a young species had proven capable of challenging their supremacy. But as the discussions continued, new alarms blared through the station. Lieutenant Park's voice came through on priority channels. Multiple quantum signatures detected. A second hegemony fleet just emerged from deep space. Krex's form pulsed with genuine surprise. This is not our doing. The High Council never authorized. It's the Rigel hardliners, Vela announced, checking her data feeds. They've decided to take matters into their own hands. 5,000 ships, armed with experimental weapons. Ray stood, her expression grim. Then we'll show them why that's a mistake. Dr. Patel, send the signal. Throughout Earth's solar system, hidden installations began to power up. The oceans stirred as more ships, smaller than the Leviathan, but no less lethal, rose from their secret berths. In deep space, quantum satellites activated, creating a web of defensive coordinates. You didn't think we only built one ship, did you? Rise asked the stunned aliens. The Leviathan had been a demonstration. Now, humanity would reveal its full strength. As the hardliner fleet approached, they encountered not one superior vessel, but an entire defense network designed to counter their every advantage. The battle for Sol had begun in earnest, and this time, Earth would show no restraint. What emerged over the next 24 hours would be remembered as the most decisive space battle in galactic history. The Leviathan led a fleet of 30 smaller quantum ships, each showcasing different aspects of humanity's technological innovation. While the hegemony relied on brute force and numbers, Earth's forces employed strategies that seemed to defy logic itself. Ships phased through solid matter, split into quantum duplicates, and turned the enemy's weapons against them. The fabric of space itself became a weapon in humanity's hands, as they demonstrated mastery over fundamental forces the hegemony had never thought to explore. By the time the last hardliner ship retreated, the balance of power had shifted permanently. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had proven itself a force capable of reshaping the galaxy's future. The message was clear. The age of hegemony dominance was over. A new era of galactic politics was about to begin, with humanity as a full and equal participant. And in the depths of space, the Leviathan continued its patrol, a symbol of both humanity's defensive resolve and its potential for innovation. The galaxy would never be the same again. 1 year after the Battle of Sol, the newly constructed orbital diplomatic center above Earth hosted the first galactic conclave. The massive structure, built with both human and alien technology, symbolized the dramatic changes sweeping through known space. Admiral Rice stood before the assembled representatives of 30 spacefaring civilizations, including former members of the now-dissolved hegemony. The chamber's quantum architecture allowed species from vastly different environments to participate comfortably, another innovation that had impressed the galactic community. "A year ago," she began, "many of you thought Earth was a primitive world to be conquered or controlled. Today, we gather as equals to forge a new path forward." The changes had come swiftly after the failed invasion. The hegemony's monopoly on interstellar travel and technology had shattered. Younger civilizations, inspired by Earth's example, began demanding recognition. Ancient power structures crumbled as new alliances formed. Dr. Patel, now heading the Joint Species Technology Exchange, presented the latest collaborative achievements. By combining human innovation with the accumulated knowledge of other species, we've made breakthroughs that benefit everyone. New medical technologies that work across species, faster, safer methods of interstellar travel, clean energy solutions that don't damage planetary ecosystems. The Leviathan, parked in high orbit, had become a symbol of this new era. Its quantum technologies were being adapted for peaceful purposes, revolutionizing everything from communication to environmental restoration. Captain Rodriguez and her crew now led training missions, teaching other species how to operate similar vessels for exploration and defense. But not all changes had come easily. Former Supreme Arbiter Krex, now serving as a regular ambassador, addressed the lingering concerns. Some still fear humanity's rapid advancement. They worry you will become what the hegemony was, dominant and controlling. Which is precisely why we proposed the Galactic Charter, Reyes responded. The document, displayed in holographic form above the chamber, outlined a new approach to interstellar relations. No single species or alliance could dictate to others. Technology and knowledge would be shared, not hoarded. Advancement would come through cooperation, not conquest. First Speaker Vela, who had become one of Earth's strongest allies, added her support. Humanity has shown us a different way. They could have used their advantages to establish dominance. Instead, they chose to help others rise. The evidence was clear. Earth had shared its quantum shielding technology with younger civilizations, helping them protect themselves. Human scientists worked alongside alien researchers, solving problems that had plagued the galaxy for millennia. The planetary defense network that had protected Earth was being adapted to shield other worlds. But our greatest achievement, Dr. Patel said, activating a new hologram, is this. The display showed a massive construction project at the edge of the solar system. The first universal university, a place where all species can learn from each other, combining their unique perspectives to push the boundaries of knowledge. The project epitomized the new order. Its quantum architecture could adapt to any species' needs. Its research facilities incorporated technologies from dozens of civilizations. Most importantly, it was open to all who wished to learn. As the conclave continued, discussions turned to the future. Plans were made for joint exploration missions into unknown space. Treaties were signed ensuring peaceful development of new technologies. Trade routes were established based on mutual benefit rather than power dynamics. The Leviathan, once built for war, was being redesigned as the first of a new class of exploration vessels. Its quantum capabilities would allow it to probe deeper into space than any previous ship, carrying a diverse crew of multiple species. "We stand at a crossroads," Rice concluded. "The old way of dominance and control is over. Before us lies a future of unlimited potential, if we have the courage to embrace it together." The chamber erupted in agreement. Species that had once been bitter enemies now worked side by side. The galaxy was entering an unprecedented age of cooperation and discovery. As the session ended, Admiral Rice looked out at Earth shining below. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had proven themselves not just capable of defending their world, but of helping to build a better galaxy for all. The stars no longer represented potential threats to be feared. They were opportunities waiting to be explored, mysteries to be solved, and new friends to be made. Humanity had found its place in the cosmos, not as rulers or subjects, but as partners in the greatest adventure of all, the peaceful exploration of the infinite frontier that lay before them. The age of the hegemony was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And somewhere out there, new wonders waited to be discovered by species working together in ways they had never imagined possible. The future was bright, and it belonged to everyone.